The purpose of the Rehma project was to start with bringing in underprivileged youth who really had very few opportunities in the community they were living in. It started off with a simple soccer team, and as we got to know them and mentor them, we started seeing more needs. And their needs were all different. Some had money, some didn't. Some were sick, some were healthy. Some had gone to school, some hadn't. Some had families, some didn't. And so we would just see the needs that were there. And some of them were financial, some of them were health, some of them were just relational things. And just by being in the community, we kept growing and building on projects. We've done business trainings, life skill trainings, photography trainings. We've given out loans, scholarships, sponsorships. And then we've just been like parents to them. We've sat with them, we've giggled with them, we've invited them into our homes, we've enjoyed spending time with them and mentoring them. And sometimes I think that's probably one of the things that's had the biggest impact in their lives so far. What I've realized is that a lot of the time they come because there's something they think that's in it for them. There's money or an opportunity or something. But once they stick around a few times, they genuinely feel like they're loved by us. And once they feel like they're loved, they stick around no matter what happens. With my girls group, it started off with just my own vision, my own dream. I knew none of the girls. And so I made a really, really cheesy flyer. It was just terrible because I'm a terrible graphic designer. And it was just said, come Saturday, I'll give you food, we'll play games, and we'll talk. And to my delight, I had 16 girls show up that first day. And ever since then, the numbers sort of dwindled. But after they realized how much we care for them and love them, that's what they wanted. They wanted somebody on their side, and they stuck around. And even to this day, we're on their side, and we still invest in them. There's always an opportunity to build better relationships, and our standard is always God and His idea. Yes, they come from different backgrounds, different religions, different ways of life, but our biblical foundation is what drives us, and that's what we teach them, and they're all on the same level that way. We've tried. We definitely have worked hard to try and get them to mingle in an appropriate manner. It doesn't always work. They're young. They have hormones. Things happen. But in general, I think also Kelvin and I being such a strong example of a very good relationship, of people who we fear God, we love God more than anything, and having a good marriage and good children is often what they look up to and what they need the most. So that's really important for us. We have such a heart for the people in that community, and it's been a few years since we've been back there full time, and a lot of our young people have grown up, and it's really neat to see where they are now. And they don't need assistance like they did anymore. We still keep in contact, and we visit, we chat, we're on Facebook and we WhatsApp. But now it's walking in and seeing the new needs. Working with even younger people. Kelvin has started working with coaches and teaching the coaches to mentor their kids. So in essence, these coaches are reaching even more kids than we could ever imagine. As for me, I still have a heart for girls and young women, and now being a mom, I have a heart for moms, and we'll see where God takes it. We're open to doing whatever, but we know we love the community, and we want to see them thrive. We want to see redemption. We want to see people who fear God and love God, and who live a very whole and wonderful life. That's our prayer and our desire. I think when you have such a passion and a love for things, all those implications are worth it. You don't think so much about the heat, you don't think so much about the money. It's just that it's your love, it's your passion, it's what fuels you, and so you don't think so much of it. Of course, I think about, my parents are back home and my kids are here, and I know, and things like education is a big deal. My kids may or may not get a good education. Of course, there's less security, less healthcare here, but those things are definitely not enough to keep us and hold us back. So really, I don't feel like we've given up a lot. If anything, we've gained so much just for our life. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many things people can do, and we've been so blessed already. Obviously, financially, that's a huge blessing to us, is finances. These things don't run without our finances, and as we continue to brainstorm, we really do want to become self-sufficient at some point. And sometimes our programs don't even need finances. They need people. They need love. And that's another thing. We love people to walk alongside us, to come visit, hang out with our young people. They're curious. They want to know you. They want to be your friends. They want to hang out. And prayers. Prayer is so important, and you praying over there has such a huge impact of what's happening. So those are a few ways that we'd love people to come alongside of us. We often come into the community and see what the needs are. I think if I come in with my own plan of I want to do this, and that, it may not even be there. It may not even be a need. So we'll have to see. We'll smell it out a little bit when we get there. I love young girls. I love young women. And now, since being a mom and being a wife and going through the experience of pregnancy and birth and stuff, that's on my heart too. So we'll see how we can do something encouraging young women, young moms or pregnant women, or and we have a really big heart for good marriages, good relationships, solid parenting. And again, that comes out of our season of life. That's what we're going through and what we feel like we can share. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, it's a wonderful, of course. I think the community, they know a good thing when there's a good thing, and they'll be there to support it. They can smell out corruption, they can smell out anything bad, but when they see good things happening, they're there to support, and they want to be involved. And Kelvin and I have always believed that when you involve the community members, they'll take ownership over it. And even if we leave, or the funds stop, the programs and the vision will still go, because if you involve people and they feel like they own it themselves, it will take off. Personally, I loved seeing so many women out there. I've sat at that pitch a million times, and not only was I the only white person, but I was probably the only woman in sight. So it was really wonderful seeing so many moms and women out there excited, and I just wish there was more space so they could play too. Girls want to play. I've realized they want to play too. So we'll see. That's another prayer item. We're excited to return, of course, because we love these people. I think when you love something and you're passionate about it, to return is easy. There are big victories. The tournament was a huge victory, and there's those high moments, but we do remember the day in and day outs. There were a lot of low moments. Change takes time. Changing behavior, changing mindsets, changing your ideas about God. That takes time, and there's a lot of setbacks. Sometimes it feels like you go one step forward and 10 steps back, but consistency is so important, and just this unconditional love that Kelvin and I always had an open door. A lot of our young people would mess up and they would run away, but they always came back. They always came back. We would just sit back and say, okay, they're coming. Just give them their time. Let them go through their grief, their consequences, but they're coming. They'll come back. They're attracted to love. They're attracted to people who love and care for them. And so we just bear the grunt with it. I think it reminds me so much of Jesus. Sometimes I think, like, how many times do we neglect him? How many times do we go wrong? And yet he just sits there and says, I'm here, I love you. And that's what we're here for, to say, we're here, we love you, whatever you do. So, yeah.